Do you like love? Are you a night owl? Then Late Night Love is a place for you. Since life is negative enough, here we discuss everything love. What we love, who we love, and why we love. So join us on Saturday nights at 11:30 p.m. Pacific Time, and please remember, love everybody. And welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining us here at Late Night Love. And in a short announcement here, we've got this is our first show where I'm going to be using an old handle I have. The old handle is JazzRack. So if you go to like Twitter, you can find me at JazzRack. And that's how our Twitter is how it's going to be. And so it's Lubby and Jazz. It's kind of like the Lubby and Jazz show. We can actually change the name to that if we really want to at some point.
We could.
But the whole point of that is it's to make it a little more fun, a little less. Sometimes you need to be a little less personal so people will open up to you and have those discussions. But to start out the show, I sent something to you over there, Lubby.
Yes, you did. And I looked at it. It was wonderful.
But it also has a bit of a discussion to bring up. And let's see if I can. There we go. And I am going to do something we don't usually do here. We're going to share my screen. And you guys can see here, for those of you live, for those on the podcast, I will explain. In South Africa, on South African Twitter, essentially, someone was walking down the street and they saw a proposal in a Kentucky Fried Chicken in a KFC, and they posted to Twitter in kind of a bit of a derogatory
proposal of marriage. It
was a bit of a derogatory way. It's like the men in South Africa are so poor they have to give their proposals. Let me see if I can read this. South African men are so broke they even propose at KFC. They have absolutely no class. I mean, who proposes at KFC? And well, that's kind of rude, right? Well, apparently KFC found out about this, and it went kind of Twitter viral in South Africa. What is it? KFC, a bunch of people started proposing this stuff. Woolworths of South Africa offered them 15,000 Rona.
I don't know what the currency is. I'm ignorant.
Yeah, I Rona. I thought it was Krona, but it's with an R, so maybe I don't. But it's 15,000, whatever their dollar value is. We don't want to insult them. I should have looked it up beforehand. Coca-Cola, I think it's ZA, so I'm not sure what that is. But they offered to pay for the beverages at their wedding. Reign of South Africa offered to pay for them unlimited data for a year for both of them. Jewelry decided two beautiful rings worth 45,000 R.
Okay. Well, what an outpouring of love.
I think there's
support.
We're talking about a minister. Do you want to use traditional outfits? So you have two outfit makers kind of arguing over who gets to do it. A bank has offered to help them to chip in so they can collaborate. There's another $5,000 to give them. I mean, South African businesses and individuals said, no, like that's just so wrong. Love doesn't have a value. There's no class to love. If what you can afford is a nice dinner at KFC, then you go to a damn nice dinner at KFC. Or that particular corner may have some special meaning to them, for all you know. It may have used to been a park or a small restaurant, and it's now a KFC, but that location has a meaning to them. You don't go around judging people. That's just rude. I don't care if you're dirt poor. If you find love, you express it and you share it anywhere the hell you can. That's just a rare thing. And I think anybody who finds fault in that needs to look in the mirror. And I hope that she does, because quite frankly, it's just the outpouring of love after that is amazing. And the expression of love from, I don't care where you do it. I don't even care how you do it. Everybody likes to judge people about how they marry people someplace else. But unless you're those people, you don't know what the right way to do it is.
You're talking to someone who got engaged in Kmart.
Oh, yeah.
And I was happy and I cried.
Yeah, but we're strange. You can't judge us.
Love is love where you find it. You can't.
And we didn't plan it though, so it wasn't the same thing. We didn't really plan it.
No.
Not like that. Not the way it happened, but
it just kind of happened.
Yeah. So
yeah.
Anyway, and and since we don't like the government, we're going to be perpetually engaged to the rest of the world.
Yes.
Except you're not. You're really not. To like when you go to the hospital. No, she's my wife. I just don't even play with it.
Oh, hun.
Well, it's because, man, you don't actually like ask for any details or paperwork or anything. You just tell them that person's your wife, and that person's your wife. They don't ask any
That's
questions.
the only thing I'm concerned about is during health issues.
Well, and you can just sign a thing, but I don't have health issues. I don't go into the hospital till I'm almost dead. So there's that.
Which is my point exactly.
Yeah, but then I have no choice, and so whatever happens, happens. So
yes,
you're about to throw something at me, aren't you?
No.
You want to?
I thought about it, but I'm not gonna.
I would, so I don't blame you.
But I'm so happy that something negative turned positive for that young couple.
Yes. Okay, so let's get a little business out of the way here first. So you can now contact on Twitter at Jazzrack, JAZZRACK. You can send us an email at love@latenightLove.us. You can send us a message on Facebook Messenger at Late Night Love. Is it? It's just Late Night Love.
It's Late Night Love.
The page name is Late Night Love. Okay. I always forget. There's so many things. Oh, The Late Night Love. It's Facebook.com/The Late Night Love.
The Late Night Love.
Yes, that is you can go find us on Twitter on Facebook, and you can send the page a message. You can also go to Anchor FM/Late Night Love and leave us a voice message if you want. And we had technical problems with the love line. I had intended to have it up tonight, but I don't. But you can contact us if you want. You can come on. We can send you a link to the studio. Just don't turn your cam on. Just all you really need is a mic and a web browser on the phone or anything or on your computer or tablet. Just don't turn the camera on, and we'll never know who you are. Okay. And I'd forget anyway. So I meet so many people these days. All right, love. So
yes,
we told me some rumor about a production meeting we had the other day that I barely remember because it's been a crazy week.
Yes, we had a production meeting. You were there. You were on your phone, and I asked if you were paying attention.
I was paying. Wait. In my defense, I think I remember what we were talking about because I actually tagged the show that we have some kind of dating questions or dating advice type things. Rules of dating.
Rules of dating / online dating. It's kind of a mix.
All right.
We have two separate ones. In case we run, and we'll do one, and if we run out of time, I have a backup one, which is more follows the rules. That's online dating. The rules.
Oh,
now,
yeah.
Rules like they used to have the rules for dating. I read them once. I thought they were silly. I don't follow rules. But the only one I remember is you never accept a date unless it's at least 3 days in advance.
Well,
so if he calls you up and says, "Hey, are you busy tonight?" You got to say, "Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm busy. I'm not going out."
Well, what if your ass was bored and you wanted to go do something?
No. It's against the rules. See,
I bet you
this is why
these are some
I don't.
unhappy women, aren't they?
This is why I don't know. They believe that by following these set of quote unquote air quotes here proven rules, you will land a relationship, a long-term meaningful relationship.
Well, yeah, just because you're going to get a lackey. You're not going to have someone with any real imagination. You're going to get someone who's quite literally going to follow your rules. And I suppose if you want that and the other person is happy with that and knock themselves out, but I would want to jump out of a 12-story building.
Well, some of these, it's interesting. We can discuss these. I have, is this 10 or 11? I forget, 10 or 11. And the first rule is you're supposed to date multiple people at once. Before you enter an agreed upon monogamous relationship, do yourself a favor and play the field. I think if you're younger, yeah. But if you're older and you're entering the dating field, the field is smaller, folks. You cannot afford to just dismiss someone because they don't, because you want to date multiple people at once. But then again, there's also something to be said. If you're not ready for a long-term relationship.
Okay, well, you're coming from someone who couldn't possibly balance two relationships at once if the mind depended on it.
We're just talking about dating. You date multiple people at once.
There's no such. I can't understand.
You have to juggle.
No, I'm surprised I had kids. What the hell?
You never juggled? I've done this when I was first divorced and I didn't want to get into a relationship. I'd just gotten out of a long-term relationship. I just dated.
Well, I'm sure I did.
I'm
having a visceral reaction to it. So my guess is I didn't particularly like it. I don't actually remember specifically. So couldn't have been something that happened a lot, but it's not something, my nature. I don't want to try to juggle two or three different personalities at once. My God, I can barely manage my own. And you also have to remember, this is back when I had a diagnosed anxiety disorder. And so when you're dealing with me, the notion of trying to juggle two people at once or three people at once, or the idea of dating one person is mind-boggling. I don't know how the hell you want to do it with two or three. Not you, I mean.
I understand. General. I understand.
Yeah. I can't.
Well, you keep it loose. Keep it loose. You don't get attached.
I'll keep my mouth shut on that one.
Stop it.
There was a joke there. I was gonna say
Stop it. God.
Hey, it's dangerous. It's gonna one of these days. It's gonna start. Those things are gonna happen, man. I swear to God, because it almost made it out. But that's a dumbass. Sorry, I'm not entirely sure I agree with that rule. I think you should give the person you're dating the attention so you know if it's right.
How's anything gonna get started? How's the magic gonna happen if you're not focused on one individual? You have to be focused and kind of get into that person.
Yeah, well, you'll know fairly quickly if they're irritating you, and so then you can move on. And then you know pretty quickly if they're boring, after 3 or 4 dates, no, they're just boring, and then you can move on. And then if after 6 or 8 dates, you pretty much know if, this is something I want to start thinking about a long-term relationship. And, well, okay, if that takes more than, say, 6 weeks, and you can't deal with 6 weeks of dealing with a single person, then, you're either really young and you don't care.
Okay.
And there's that, and these are then you're talking about, you're not really looking for a relationship, you're looking for booty calls.
Okay.
And I think if you understand the difference, we talk about relationships a lot here, but if you want to talk about sex, well then sure, knock yourselves out, make sure you take precautions. But
of course.
But if you're just exercising your sexuality, okay, then fine. But if you're actually genuinely looking for a relationship, dating multiple people is probably not the right thing to do.
Okay. I agree.
Where I sit.
Yeah.
I just don't think you're giving any real chance. It's like you're always
For
looking
something to happen.
It's like you're looking for greener grass.
Constantly.
Yeah. Rather than appreciating the grass you're standing on. Yeah. Now, if you don't like the grass you're standing on, okay, fine, then move and go look for other grass. But give what you're looking for the respect it deserves.
Yeah.
Okay. What else?
Okay, number 2, keep dates short. This is only 90 minutes. And they said this gives you enough time to get to know a person on a surface level and feel a spark, but not long enough that your brain starts getting carried away with the excitement of the potential. Now, the excitement of the potential is half the fun. What the heck?
Well, I can see giving yourself a 90-minute limit on like a first or second date, just in case you want to be able to get out. But if you're hitting 80 minutes, you're having a good time, and say no, you know what, it's okay. I'll rearrange my schedule tomorrow. Let's not worry about it. Let's go do bowling, or let's go shoot the water balloon face people and see if the old military person can beat the person who's like shot a gun twice.
No. This says that you are not supposed to allow spontaneous turns of events to where you have a marathon movie night. You have a movie night where it goes on to a movie night, or you turn into a bar crawl, because this could put you into a state of confusion and despair.
Who the hell wrote that thing? Lilith from Cheers, the Frasier's wife? The hell is that? Someone's got about 3 brooms shoved up her ass. So
that wasn't Frasier's first wife.
No,
Frasier's first wife was Nanny G. Lilith was his second wife, but that's a trivia. You can tell I'm a big Frasier fan. Okay, go on. What you were saying?
Yeah, but that's one cold person. I wouldn't want to be with somebody who's that rigid.
We're just talking about these are.
I can expect leaving yourself out during a date. So if you need to find a reason to bail. But man, it just seems like you're playing games. It just seems like she's playing games, or whoever wrote this.
Well, these are rules. They don't call it a game. They call it rules.
The rules because someone thought them up and wrote them down. That's not a real rule. Anyway, okay. That's next. That's just dumb.
Number 3. Be upfront about wanting a relationship. Now, how upfront are you supposed to be? I mean, usually I used to ask on the first date, but I would let it get to the date. You online, you chat a bit, you decide you're going to meet, or you do a phone call, you meet up, and sometime during the evening, you're talking about your life, and that's, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Are you looking for a relationship now? You kind of, I would ask if that's what you really want.
Okay, for me, I suppose, the times when I was single, which have actually been relatively short periods of time, come to think of it, or not necessarily single, free to roam, shall we say. It's always been the other way around.
What?
It's if I'm looking for not a relationship, but I'm up front for it before we would meet for a date or whatever, even though date. But,
so you're looking for a good time.
Yes, you're looking for some lady garden or gentleman sausage.
Okay.
Yeah, you're looking for lady garden or gentleman.
And they turn into relationships.
Well, some people are using that. Women seem to have this problem more than men. But try to use that to create a relationship. When you're open with that.
I know once I start having, fun with someone, start having sex with someone, I become attached. Then it becomes a relationship. One person starts caring more than the other.
Yes, that's the danger of those things.
Yes.
Yeah. So unless you're both kind of out just looking for some fun, then
it does happen.
Yeah, I mean, we're all human beings, and occasionally you need the comfort of another human being, even if it's just for kind of a gross 2 hours.
I've done it.
Yeah, there's no.
Who hasn't?
Well, I'm sure there's people
who've been on the planet for a while.
I'm sure there's
Come
people
on,
who have
in their lives.
No, I'm sure there's people. There's people whose sexuality isn't that.
That's true. That's true.
In their life, and so if they're like that, it can be their upbringing, it can be their nature, it can be genetics. Who knows? But no judging. I'm not going to judge somebody who is. But we would judge a prude or uptight. I have a hard time judging them because as long as they're happy with their life, what the hell do I care?
Well, they're not prudes or uptight. It's their sex drive is.
Yeah, or they're just not interested
at a certain point.
This might not even be their sex drive. They just might be insanely vanilla and they don't care, and they only want to do it with someone they're deeply in love with, and that's all that's all fine. And as long as they don't want to impose it on anybody else, then what do we care? It's when you try to create a culture that forces that on everybody else, or a culture that forces free and open sexuality on everybody else. We all have to figure out a way to live together in this. We all need a little compassion for those people around us, I think is.
Well, we're all out there trying to just doing our best, bumping into each other.
It's surprising it works as well as it does, man.
Really, my sister said, "This is God's wonder that any two people get together ever."
It's amazing the lights work. I swear to God. We're still animals out the cave. It's amazing that the lights work. I swear. All right, what you got?
Okay, number 4. Avoid talking about exes on early dates. Oh. Now, I believe in this early on. I want to know, and I'm going to find out. Okay, but I don't want to know early on. I want to know what you think about me. I want to hear about you. I don't want to hear about you and your past relationships. Now, you can, if a guy talks about his relationships early on, to any great extent, of course, in passing, I was married, I've been divorced, in passing. But if he starts going into this long diatribe, he's still emotionally attached to that last relationship. He's not ready to move on.
Or hasn't healed from it.
He hasn't healed, yes.
Or hasn't healed from it. That's the other say. But then there's also the other possibility where it could simply be trying to be open about where everything is standing. Maybe it's insanely complicated, and they're essentially they've got kids and young children, and so all that's very careful. You have to be very careful about. Which is why don't screw up your goddamn relationships in the first place, so you don't have to deal with all that. If I would go back and tell any young person is one piece of advice is treat your relationships with the respect they deserve. Because if there's one thing that can really ruin a relationship, it's not that you don't treat the other person with the respect that they deserve, that you don't treat the relationship with the respect that it deserves. And those are actually two different things. If you don't, because a relationship is a dance, and you have to know the dance as well as know your partner. One person has to lead, but you can change leads as long as you both agree to change the lead at the same time. And that happens in relationships all the time. Some person gets sick, the other person has to take the lead in the family. It's like a dance. It's like swapping a lead in a dance.
Yes.
Maybe the music changes. You used to go tango, now you've got to do, I don't know, the waltz. You've got to, there's a dance you have to manage as well. And so it's all very, very complicated, and we should all be very careful. And that's all. And, and instead of rules, if they use call these guidelines, I would be more comfortable with them. I just don't like them as rules. I think it's too rigid. But okay, what else we got? We also are almost at halftime. So
Yes.
if we want to take the break now.
Sure.
Okay, good. Can you do me a favor while we take the break? Oh, hold on a second. Let me do this. We're gonna take our for the live show it's a fake break, but so we're gonna create 3 seconds of silence for our commercial break. Okay, now all this bit's coming out. Can you go and get me a soda out the fridge, please?
Sure.
Oh, I could get it, but then you'd have to.
You'd have to go past me. Hold on, I gotta take off my microphone.
And so for those of you guys,
wait. Let me get our assistant to do that.
Yeah, get our assistant to do that. Casper, can you go get that? This is a special for people who get it on live. You get a couple of minutes where we take a halftime break, and I forgot to grab a soda. So sometimes it's just a few seconds, sometimes it's a few minutes. Today it's just until the Lubby-nator gets back with something for me to drink because I'm getting parched over here. Thank you, me love.
You're very welcome, my honey.
Okay. Oh, that's good. Okay, you all ready again over there?
Hold on, I'm not clipped.
That's what she said.
I'm clipped.
Oh, that's right. That's what he said. That was the wrong joke.
Wrong gender. God, hun.
All right. We're ready for the 3 seconds?
Okay. What?
Okay, and we're back. Thank you. God, I should need a script coming back in from these breaks. Okay, so what do you got for us over? We'll do that next week.
Number 5. Now, this doesn't make any sense to me. Pay more attention to follow through than advanced planning. I totally understand why some women might not want to accept a last-minute date or have a 3-day rule. But I wouldn't write off someone based on how far in advance they initiate a date. Okay, finally, some words of wisdom. Don't dump a guy just because he calls you up and says, "Hey, I got tickets to tonight's whatever movie. Do you want to go with? I came into some tickets. You want to go with me tonight?" I'm sorry, no, I can't. I have a 3-day rule. I mean,
what if this? Hey, my sister all of a sudden can't go to this great movie that everybody's wanting to see. She got advance tickets. You want to come with me? And you wanted to see the movie. Why the hell wouldn't you go?
Because you have a 3-day rule.
Man, someone needs to hit you over the head with a frying pan about this damn 3-day rule. Just come on, live some life. Now, there are people who need a very rigid life. And so I don't want to be overly flippant because we talk a lot about love and loving people and understanding that different people have different needs, and those different needs can be different mental health needs. And so there is always that possibility that someone is actually who's as rigid as that is that way because maybe they're slightly autistic, they're functionally autistic, and they need that rigidity in their life. Otherwise, their mind goes berserk.
They're going to go off the rails.
And so there might be some reasons. And so we want to be careful as we're sitting here talking about this. So we're talking in the general mass. And if we're not talking in the general mass, we'd be very specific that we're not talking in the general mass. We have some fun, we laugh, but we do try to take this seriously because there's people out there who, you never know who comes across these things. Someone might be lonely and questioning it, and we want to make sure that we reach somebody with love instead of if they catch the wrong moment of us being flippant without catching other moments. We're not going to take the flippant stuff away. We're not going to stop laughing, but we just want to stop every now and again when we're being and reassure this, especially on something like this, because this is a mental health issue, and with my son's autistic, and it kind of sometimes some of the stuff rings a bell with how some people I know, and so I just want to be careful because that's what we do. Okay, so what else we got?
Don't feel obligated to send a thank you text. Okay, apparently that's a rule I did not know about.
Well, thank you for what?
Thank you for the date. Aren't you supposed to say thank you before you leave? And that's what their point. If you say warmly and sincerely thank them in person before you leave, you don't need to send a thank you text.
No, you've already said thank you. Yeah, you don't need to say thank you a million times. You've already done it. But if you didn't think your thank you was enough, was appropriate, or if you genuinely wanted to say it again, go for it. But don't feel obligated. I think that's actually a correct piece of good advice. There's no need to feel obligated for something you've already done.
But if you had just a fantastic time and you wanted to thank again.
Hey, I had a great time. Had fun. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. I think what their point was, don't feel obligated. You don't have to sit there and wonder, should I? Do I need to? No, you don't need to.
You don't feel obligated.
But if you want to, knock yourself out.
All right.
Yeah, come on now.
Now, this is very controversial to me. Give them 2 weeks to reach out again after a date.
2 weeks to reach out after a date.
No.
Make sure you check your email over there every now and again, will you? By the way, sorry. 2 weeks to reach out after your date.
Email? What are you talking about?
Okay, give me a second. Okay, so sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. It was just in my head.
Yes, 2 weeks to reach out again after a date. You had a great date. If he doesn't reach out within 3 days, then he didn't think, as far as I'm concerned, he didn't think the date went so great, and he's just not as into me as I'm into him. And oh well, move on.
Well, it might be a good way to mentally move on, but if he contacts you 5 days later, it just means he was busy, caught up with work, something happened. It happens. We're guys, and if we don't remember to do it within that first day or two, it can kind of compound on itself, and it'll be 6-7 days before you go, damn it, I didn't contact.
No, that means I haven't been on his mind.
All that means is we've had other things on our mind, and they may have actually.
Then you're not for me.
But what if your sister got sick, or your child got sick, or your car broke down, or you've had to go work for 14-hour days, 4 days straight?
Okay, you didn't say an emergency.
Well, what about working 14-hour days and you just go to work, you get home, you go to bed?
You could send me a text.
We're men. We don't always do that. We're tired. We don't want to get in the conversation, and so we just go to bed.
There's no conversation. Hey, thinking about you.
Please. We're men. We're simple creatures. It's what's in front of our face. And if we get other things on our mind, other things get on our mind.
I'm just saying, I want somebody who's crazy about me.
Well, it's a good thing I didn't have anything else on my mind early on then, didn't it?
Well, you appeared to sometimes on our first date.
Well, that's just me.
I didn't know you very well. And I thought, okay, I thought, okay, this guy's really just not that into me, but he's still standing here. So I'm going to wait and see what else he has to say. We're still on a date. We'll see how this goes, and thank goodness it went very well.
Okay, cool.
But if you would have waited 2 weeks, I would have been very disappointed.
Well, I don't think waiting 2 weeks, but there's theoretically it could have taken a few days, 4 or 5 days, on just if stuff lines up just right, or in that case, wrong.
Yes, wrong. Well, there are emergencies, yes.
Yeah, but of course, what a man and women define as emergencies may be different. Okay.
Number 8. Wait until at least a few dates to have sex.
Well, assuming you're looking for a relationship, it's not terrible. Of course, if you're in your 40s or something, it's also, you should probably understand yourself by that age. So, but if you're young, that's a pretty good rule. Now, again, you go back to the depends what you're looking for. Could just be looking for sex, and then why would you wait 3 days if what you really want is a sex partner?
Well, if that's what you agree on, see, that's why I say you ask on the first date.
Yeah, well,
What the heck's going on here?
Well, see, for me, it would have been set up already because that was what
you
I would have been
gone
looking
into
for.
it.
Yeah, that's would have been the whole point.
You did.
Well, kind of, but I'm just saying that's how it works. What do you want from me?
Best laid plans of mice and men.
Men don't make plans. They pretend to. That's why we bring duct tape.
Now, I'm surprised this needs to be in here. Field number 10, or this is number 9. Number 9 or number 10, I forget. Wait, it says, feel free to do some of the planning yourself.
Yeah, we actually appreciate that. Like where you want to eat.
Aren't you supposed to kind of sort of take turns asking each other out?
You're not asking the right person.
That's what I thought.
On that particular question.
You know, I didn't think it should be like, no one told me this. I just kind of figured myself it just
Well, then that was your standard.
practical.
Well, that was your standard, and that's
You
what
know,
you
it's
wanted.
not okay. The guy has to ask all the time and pay all the time.
This is true.
And it doesn't, you know, and it doesn't have to be expensive. You can, guys, well, a lot of guys make them a cold fried chicken dinner and take it to a park. Heck yeah.
Well, most guys are simple creatures, and so if they're willing to spend time with you, they're willing to spend time with you. They don't really care all that much.
Really?
As long as it's not shopping or an opera.
Unless,
we might go,
unless they're into opera.
We're not liking it. If the guy's into opera, then you're probably not going to have a good one.
Y'all will do some amazing things early on in a relationship. And this is what gets us. We think you're going to continue to do them.
Why?
Because you like doing them with us.
No, it's because we're stupid. And we're trying to impress you. Or we're trying not to let you down. Or we're trying to put our whatever. Or ego. You know, there's all that ego crap. You know, so we just don't like to admit, you know, that we don't want to eat that food because we find it gross. We don't want to tell you that, you know, tomatoes are gross. So we try to eat a yellow tomato and say, well, this is gross.
You did tell me it was gross, but you chewed on it and you swallowed it anyway. I thought you were going to try. I thought that meant that for the rest of the time in our relationship, I was going to be able to get you to take bites of things.
No, that was just the only time you were going to get me to take a bite of something I damn well knew was gross.
Well, I didn't know that. See, we think this is going to continue.
Well, you guys are delusional. There's no history. There's no evidence in the history of the, you know, universe that that's the case. So why would you expect it?
We just think.
Hope springs eternal. I give you guys that. Guys.
Because that's what we do.
I was looking for the positive side.
If we do it once, we pretty much are going to do it again.
We'll keep going, but we'll grumble the whole way. You guys have hope.
Yeah. We do. We have ideals that y'all are finer creatures.
We've accepted that we're not.
Okay, this is the last one on this quiz.
Uh-huh.
Then we have the other one, which is more online rules. Okay, this one is eat whatever the heck you want. I'm surprised this needs to be a rule. I didn't know you're only supposed to, ladies, order a salad, never finish their plate, or never bring home food. Apparently, that's a rule.
Well, I could actually agree with the maybe never bring home food thing, because that's just carrying stuff around. It might be, but then some people don't like wasting food, and if that's one of your high moral values, then I can understand carrying it out. I say again, this goes back to all this. If bringing home your leftover food is a high moral value to you, you're likely dating somebody, or you would hopefully dating somebody that either has that as a high moral value or isn't bothered by that being your high moral value. Okay, it's just you. You want to carry food home, you carry food home. So, you want me to carry it for you? I'll carry it for you. Be a gentleman. But you wouldn't think that you would be dating someone who looks at you negatively because you brought home some food. Do you think that would be say?
Well,
I don't want
we think you're judging us by how we're eating.
Well, I think the judgment wouldn't be by how you're eating. I think the judgment would be on your cheapness. If there's a judgment.
If half the steak is left, I'm bringing it home and I'm having it with eggs in the morning.
If half a steak is left, it means I didn't eat. Why the hell didn't I eat it? What the hell is wrong?
What's wrong with the steak? I ain't taking it home.
Just saying, man.
Okay, now this next one has to do with emails. Emails when you're meeting someone online.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so we're trying to develop a relationship online. We're looking. Okay. All right. The first one, if a man doesn't write you a sentence or two specific to your ad, but rather just send you his profile through a wink or a rose, or if he sends a photo only, do not respond at all. What if he's shy?
No. What if he's really hot? Take a chance that he's being real.
But
shy guys will put more than a thing. What shy guys will give you a completely inept response. So those are the people you likely want to respond. The people whose response are all, it's like the guy who can't talk to you in front of tries to walk up to you at the lunch counter or bar or whatever the hell you're at, they'll write that exact same type of thing in the email, and so you'll be able to tell who those are. And so the guys who send out the pictures and the whatnots, they're essentially fishing. They're waiting for one person to sing them back. And the trick is, if that's a real picture, you might be hot, man. Go have a good time if you're looking for a single good time. But if you're looking for a relationship, that's not the place to go. No, because that's not what they're looking for.
Oh. Okay. Well, that clears up a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, next one, number 2, if a man sends an email and he doesn't have a photo online, say would love to see a photo, thanks. And that's it, nothing else. I didn't see a photo of you for a day.
You have to judge these things because people could have very good reasons to not want to send a photo around willy-nilly.
Mm-hmm.
Could be a single politician, or a recently divorced politician or something. Just honest. Let's not even talk about a married politician. We'll keep it ethical. But or a teacher. Could be a high school teacher, a relatively young 30-year-old high school teacher. You'd probably want to be careful. You could think of a laundry list of reasons why someone would want to be careful. And so you want to judge the circumstance by the circumstance. Now, at some point, in this day and age, you should have a picture before you meet. And your first picture probably shouldn't be of your gentleman sausage.
Good heavens.
Just saying.
No, only send those upon request.
But wait, didn't I send you a picture of my Dr. Pepper belly?
It was a picture the camera was up kind of high and it was pointed down at you, and there was your hair and your face, and yes, you had your shirt off and there was your tummy. You felt I forget what negative comment you had to say, but I understood that it was some sort of little insecurity on your parts, and I did my best to try to reassure you. You know, it looks good to me. You know, yum yum. You know, something. I did my best while still keeping it light. You know. Yeah.
I got Dr. Pepper. You guys want to? No one wants to see.
No one wants to see that. Just me. Okay, here's this one. This rule number 3 contradicts something that was earlier said. Don't tell a man you checked out his profile, even if you did.
We didn't say that.
Just write a response to his email. You sound nice, and anything else you want to say. Do not say I read your ad. My brother is also an accountant and he played basketball in college. I love skiing and tennis too. We seem to have a lot in common. Oh, this is great. As a rules girl, you are too busy to be memorizing men's ads. Remember? See, here again, this rules is it's games.
Yeah, well, then we know you're full of shit. So it's just, we know the first thing you do is going to go look us up. We're not stupid. You have just pure safety, if nothing else. Come on now, we don't and we don't hold it against you or anything. It's all good.
Mm-hmm.
It makes perfect sense for us that you would do that. So it's not a big deal for us. The world's a dangerous place, and you should be careful. And if you're not, well, then you're probably crazy, and we don't want to know that too. Or at least the sane of us do.
Well, I didn't like Google you or anything.
Well, no, but the basic looking around. Yeah. But of course, I'm special. I have angel wings and everything. You just can't see them because of the green screen. All right, we got like 10 minutes.
Okay, number 4, do not look through his profile for conversation pieces. Then what else are you going to talk about? How are you going to get things going?
Well, you could actually say, hey, if you're going to look through their profile, what you do is you look for things that you can learn a little bit about, so you know decent questions to ask about them.
That's what I thought.
You don't have to learn a lot. You just have to learn enough so you can ask decent questions.
And you can get a conversation going.
Yeah, and then you can learn about stuff because they'll know a lot about it, and then you can talk, you can learn, and then you'll have better questions to ask. And if he's smart, he'll have done relatively the same thing, or he'll have listened to you enough where he'll have learned enough things to be able to do the same thing.
Hold up his end of the conversation. I liked that about you. I didn't have to do all the talking and all the questioning. You were very much, and you were highly entertaining.
What do you mean you do all the questioning now?
You were funny. That's different.
Funny man.
Funny man. Okay, this next one I think is a good one. Never email a man a second time if he neglected to respond to your email. If he didn't respond to the first one, he's not going to respond to the second one.
Depends how many emails you get. I missed the email from the vice presidential campaign simply because I had received like 50 emails that day and I just missed it. It happens.
I would be, I feel rejected already. I wouldn't.
I'm just saying, it happens. If you get a lot of emails, it happens.
Yeah, but here again, we go back to he's got to be thinking about me and want to be contacting me too.
Depends. I'm just saying it happens. That's the problem with rules is it doesn't leave room for real life to exist. Doesn't leave room for that you sent it on the one day he received 50 emails and they literally just didn't see it because he got busy and it looked like something a part of a thread that he'd already answered and moved past it. And because at that stage, you're just trying to get through them as fast as you can. It happens. Trust me. Luckily, Spike's a nice guy and didn't hold against me, unlike somebody who claims to love me. All right, so what do you got?
If you get an angry email back, such as, I want more than 3 sentences from someone I would want to date, someone open and honest, no games, hit the delete button. Well, yeah, if you get an angry email back.
Yeah, but if you're...
I would put more than 3 sentences.
Yeah, well, getting an angry email is a warning sign. But also, if you're only sending 2 or 3 sentences all the time, then it's a valid complaint. But the complaint should be formed not in a non-angry way. The fact that it's an angry email is a big ass flash warning sign, and they're probably right to break off. But don't be playing games, and you wouldn't get that reaction. But of course, if you're looking for that reaction, you're looking for. But again, it's just game playing. I can't even justify it. It's fucking game.
Well, you're gonna love this one.
It's game playing. For
the first 3 months, do not initiate emails. Only responds to emails he sends you.
Oh my God, we got to contact this woman and see if she wants to come on and talk about this crap.
And only if his email merits a response to a question.
Oh, so he can't not respond to your email, but you can not respond to his?
That's right.
That's what she's saying?
That's right. You respond to his, but you don't send him any. You never initiate.
But if he doesn't respond to your email, because go back to one of the other questions, a question or two ago, right? If he didn't respond to one of your emails, you'd flip out, right? Or you'd go, no, we can't do it. But you don't have to respond to his email.
That's right.
These people are worse than politicians. She should run for office.
Oh, and you have to wait 24 hours before you email them back.
Again, it's just, why are you playing games? If you've got an answer, why wouldn't you just send it? I could maybe see not sending it if you're sitting at your desk, you get the email, they think again, maybe you want to wait an hour before you hit the reply button. Maybe, but even that feels like a freaking game. Why are you playing games? I don't understand this need. This whole thing seems like a game, and it doesn't seem like you're going to get a very productive relationship out of it, if you ask me. The question isn't, do you find a relationship? Do you find a long-term, meaningful relationship? And are you actually setting the stage using these things for a long-term, meaningful, healthy, happy relationship? What is your actual goal? Is the goal of these things a relationship, or the goal of these things a healthy, happy, long-term relationship?
We want to. Apparently, it has to be a relationship run by their rules.
Yeah, okay, but what happens once you become a long-term relationship? She got rules for that?
Well, that's in another. I don't know if this person does, but we've gone over those before.
It's that Relationships for Dummies. We should just break out the Relationships for Dummies book. I bet you it's got better advice. Hey, don't
laugh, man.
I bet you it's got better advice than this crap.
I was lost at one point in time. I resorted to relations. What am I doing here?
No, I bet you it's got better freaking advice than this crap. All right, I wouldn't doubt it.
Well, this one is specifically for, online. This was a very popular one. Never use words never to use in your emails, and things never to discuss in emails.
All right, we got 5 minutes. Let's do one more.
Soulmate, dream man, commitment phobia, anything about sex. You're not supposed to discuss any of these.
But you're not supposed to discuss sex.
No, his or her long-term plans, ex-boyfriend, ex-husband, last relationship, marriage, connection, intimacy, anything about game playing, i.e., I don't play games. You're not supposed to say that.
Well, the whole thing's a game. How can you can't actually say I don't play games because the whole thing's a fucking game.
They call it rules.
It's a fucking game. You know what has rules?
What?
Games. That's a freaking game. You might as well call online dating game. I can be their host.
This is great. No, this is great. Number 9. After 3 or 4 months, you can initiate one quick, fun email, such as a joke or something that made you think of him, but nothing about sex. Just a small, innocent email.
Oh, good God. Someone take the lemons out of this lady's behind. What the hell?
If someone didn't email me for 4 months, man, forget it. I'm not interested in a one-sided relationship.
That's all it's game playing. It's just so much game playing. And you're not even going to be, how can anybody be happy trying to run a relationship by those things, by those kind of rules? I don't understand.
Okay, here's the last one. I like this one.
Okay.
Don't be a downer.
Don't be Debbie Downer.
Now, if you, I don't necessarily agree with this. I mean, if you're going to be real about what's going on in your life, if you're going to connect with someone, you have to be willing to be open to letting them in a little bit.
Well, yes, that's true, but that doesn't necessarily mean you can be a downer. I mean, there's a difference between letting somebody in.
Well, you just get fired from your job and you're depressed and you're scared and
yeah.
Now it doesn't mean you have to, puke on your tennis shoes, but I had a bad day. I was let go. Didn't see that one coming.
Well,
it's just, that's pretty much sums it up.
I think just don't be a downer part of your personality traits or something you habitually go to. I don't think if you don't be a downer, I don't think it doesn't mean, when you're legitimately down, when you're feeling a bit depressed, you don't share your feelings.
Well, that's what this says.
Did it actually go into a long explanation?
Yes, it did. It went into a long explanation.
Okay, let me see. We got a couple minutes.
Crazy week, 30 people would go at work. I could be next.
Don't be a downer. What the?
Okay, you're not reading out loud.
I know I'm not reading out loud because I read out loud and it's boring. So it's actually better to have the silence for a minute. This is insane. Why would you not express yourself and tell the person you want to build a relationship with the things that are going on in your life and how it's impacting you? What are you afraid of? Are you afraid that they're going to reject you? Are you so needy for a relationship that you're going to not share who you are and what's impacting you, and you're supposed to just pretend like everything's happy-go-lucky? Oh, no, that's just for your girlfriends? Well, isn't that what you want a partner for? Isn't that literally exactly what you're looking for a relationship for? Someone to help you through these kinds of storms of life? What planet is this person from? Is she a robot from Mars? or a plant from the Soviet Union or something? She's a Russian bot. That's what it is. That's insane. That's some of the most insane crap I've heard in a long time. I was gonna say I've ever heard, but I forget I'm in politics and I've heard lots of insane crap. So, but that's awful relationship advice unless you are a really rigid person and you're looking for someone who likes that. But For mass consumption, that's setting a lot of people up for a lot of misery and long-term heartache, because maybe you get a relationship out of that, but it's not going to be functional. Not long-term. You start a relationship playing games, and I was joking about the rules. Games have rules, but that's exactly what the hell that is. She's playing a game to get a relationship. She's playing a relationship game. She drew up rules for it. But then what? You win. You win the game. You got a relationship. Then what? It's built upon a foundation of game playing, not a foundation of building respect and honor and love. How can anybody who says they care about human beings write something like that for mass consumption? And if you frame it as, hey, if you're this type of personality, try this, I could understand that. So I don't want to totally dump on it, but for mass consumption, that's awful. It's just god awful. You're setting a lot of people up for heartache and pain. And that is all for us tonight. You can visit us at latenightLove.us.
Good night. Good night.
You can send us an email at love@latenightLove.us. You can contact us on Twitter at Jazzrack, or technically, I guess that's me. And you can visit us at Anchor FM/Late Night Love, or at Facebook, Late Night Love, the Late Night Love. And hey, it's busy out there tonight. And please remember, we are out of here. Good night. Thank you for joining us. And please remember to love everyone.